Show on NTA.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin
labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
ọkwa ọjị ikenga eziokwu
nwanne m nwoke
Ikechi.
Hello there. Welcome to Weekend File on the NTA. We are live in Abuja. 2 weeks ago, Nigerian schools resumed after the long holiday that marked the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. The challenge now is how to make schools safe and conducive for learning. Recently, Nigeria has become embroiled in insecurity in schools, ranging from kidnapping, cultism, and various forms of violence, especially in primary and secondary schools. There is now a clear manifestation of sudden death of students across the Federation, just as abduction of students and teachers seems to have become the norm in the country today. Nigeria may not be alone in this ugly development, and perhaps this is what prompted many nations of the world, including Nigeria, to embrace Safe Schools Declaration as part of strategies to stem down insecurity in schools. Government of Nigeria is concerned about the safety of schools and has adopted several means of safeguarding the schools, including moving students in the highest risk areas to other schools in several parts of the country, rebuilding schools, and improving security, among others, under the Safe Schools Initiative. Weekend File tonight focuses on schools resumption and the Safety Schools Initiatives. We do have situation reports on the issue, and our guest is Binta Abdulkadiri, Director, Senior Secondary Education, Federal Ministry of Education. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Now the news. Let's start by telling you that President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after a 4-day working visit to Banjul, Republic of the Gambia and Kaduna. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president was received on arrival at the helipad of the State House by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, and the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. Others were the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khali Baba, Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Magajibichi, Permanent Secretary of the State House, Tijani Umar, and other senior government officials. While in Banjul, President Buhari attended the inauguration of President Adama Barrow of the Gambia for a second term in office. And in Kaduna, the president inaugurated several landmark infrastructure projects executed by the El Rufai administration under the Urban Renewal Program. Terrorists and other criminal gangs that have been menacing Nigerian citizens and their property in Kaduna and other parts of the country will be contained and crushed by the nation's armed forces. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance at a state banquet organized in his honor by Kaduna State government to round off his working visit to the state. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
During the 3-day visit which took President Muhammadu Buhari to the state's 3 major cities of Kaduna, Kafanchang and Zaria, critical urban renewal infrastructure projects were inaugurated. Speaking at the state banquet organized in his honor, President Buhari applauded the El Rufai administration for its consistent efforts at developing Kaduna, seeking progress on many fronts and confronting challenges boldly.
I wish to commend the Kaduna State Urban Renewal Program for its sheer audacity, breadth of imagination, and quality of project execution. I am glad to say I have seen with my own eyes the remarkable changes across all the 3 senatorial zones.
The president noted with delight the significant increase in the state's local revenue from 13 billion naira to over 50 billion naira in 5 years. His commitment to healthcare delivery, human capital development, and security of lives and property.
On behalf of the federal government, I commend the efforts of the Kaduna State government to respond to the demands of development for progress, peace, and prosperity. I urge Malam Nasir El-Rufai to push on and do not relent in his efforts to accelerate change in Kaduna State.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai had told the president that his administration's urban renewal projects are not only designed to improve the competitiveness of the state, support economic dynamism, and promote the well-being of the people, but also restore Kaduna to the dreams of its founders.
Mr. President, I wish to acknowledge your support and that of the federal government on many fronts, not the least of which is securing the financing for many of these projects. Without your intervention, your personal intervention, Mr. President, would be struggling to do anything more than pay staff salaries. But like Oliver Twist, Mr. President, we ask you and everyone to continue to do more for our state.
He said every public works project in Kaduna State is for the benefit of everyone, including schools, healthcare centers, and roads.
The people of Kaduna State have provided a bulwark of support for our governance efforts. They have rejected lies and resisted repeated attempts at incitement to cause ethnic and religious problems in the state. We've had to take difficult decisions, and most of our people have often understood that those steps were taken to uphold the common good. I challenge our team to remain focused and ensure that we finish as strongly as we have started.
Governor El-Rufai said making Kaduna great again is a task that must be done. From Kaduna, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
At the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari is advocating a UK-African Union free trade deal that will revive intra-trade among the Commonwealth countries for improved economic development of Africa. Benny Adams takes us through the president's aspirations for a prosperous Africa.
African nations have for so many years been into economic partnership with Europe, entering into bilateral agreements that seem lopsided as Europe erects high tariff barriers to goods manufactured and processed in Africa, thereby stunting job creation among other trade policies intended to benefit just Europe. President Muhammadu Buhari believes this trend can change, with the United Kingdom becoming the first country in the world to sign a memorandum with the African Union's 54-country continental free trade area.
The Memorandum of Understanding falls into two broad areas of the AfCFTA, namely trade in goods, and in particular customs cooperation, transit, and trade facilitation. It also falls in the category of other areas of our work, including facilitating investment promotion in Africa through the use of the AfCFTA as a tool and a catalyst for investment.
Meaning that this singular action should lead to a UK-Africa Union free trade deal, one made with parity, considering Africa's $3 trillion combined GDP, which is equivalent to that of the United Kingdom, the world's fifth largest economy.
And the whole operation provides a tidy return for investors both in Nigeria and in the UK. And it's a great example of what the modern UK-Africa partnership looks like. An exchange of ideas, equipment and finance to solve common problems. A relationship that benefits us all and makes a lasting difference.
More to this is the fact that 19 Commonwealth nations' laws are built on the principles of English jurisprudence, which the President sees as a common platform from which to better align regulations on investment and certification.
Our location, our natural resources, our population, and our regulations are there for all to see. Nigeria on its way to becoming a leading industrial and trading nation in Africa.
President Buhari is also of the view that African unity will give opportunity to Britain to practice the free trade it has always preached, which he expressed optimism that it will lead to job creation in Africa as an advantage and not a threat to the Western world. 2 years after the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union, President Buhari, on behalf of Africa, seeks a new settlement with Britain, one based on cooperation in fairer and freer trade. He concludes with the optimism that, being the first mover amongst the G7 to seek a trade deal with Africa, the UK is positioning itself to secure the very best of terms and stands able to revive intra-Commonwealth trade, replenish its relations with the fastest growing market in the world, as well as tackle the causes of economic migration and create jobs and wealth that boost rather than threaten those at home. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Now, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FAIRS, says it will continue to adopt innovations and strategies to encourage voluntary tax compliance and boost government revenue. The executive chairman of the FAIRS, Mohammed Nami, made the pledge as he received the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Adesina Adedayo, on a visit. Again, Benny Adams reports.
The executive chairman of the FIRS, Mohammed Nami, receiving his visitor, the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Adesina Adedayo, on a visit, noted that the FIRS in the new year will focus its activities on implementing the Finance Act amendment with respect to taxing the digital space.
We will prioritize the deployment of technology for the automation of our processes and procedures, seeking to achieve 100% automation of all our tax administration processes, which will block revenue leakages and improve revenue generation in this country. The service solicits the support of the Institute and its members to ensure that we succeed in realizing this objective.
Adesina Adedayo, on his part, pledged to support the FIRS to block leakages and inefficiencies in tax administration.
We remain hopeful that the Federal Revenue Service will continue to support the Institute as we work towards fulfilling our mandate as provided in the CITN Charter and to advance the taxation profession in all its ramifications.
Adesina joined other Nigerians to celebrate the Commission's landmark achievement of collecting more than 6 trillion naira in revenue in the year ended, and for the emergence of the FIRS boss as the president of the Commonwealth Association of Tax Administrators. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Let's talk security matters as Imo State Police Command has raided one of the camps belonging to the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the Eastern Security Network, ESN. A statement by the police public relations officer, Michael Abatam, indicates that the action followed credible information on the conversion of a forest at Onitsha in Ezinihite, Mbise local government area of Imo State, into the group's operational base. It further states that on arrival at the camp, members of the group engaged the police in a gun battle, which resulted in the loss of one of the gang members, while others escaped into different locations with gunshot injuries. Items recovered from the camp include one AK-47 rifle with 40 rounds of live ammunition, 10 locally fabricated explosive devices, one police hand grenade, 2 Toyota Highlander SUV jeeps without registration numbers, one Lexus 350 SUV without registration number, and 2 Biafran flags. The Commissioner of Police, Imo State Commander Rabiu Hussein, had appealed to the indigents of the state to get involved in the fight to rid the state of all criminal hideouts. The old police barracks in Kaba, Kogi State, has been razed by angry youth in the community following the alleged killing of a young man by a police officer. Jonathan Omajali has more on the unfortunate incident.
It was like every other normal Saturday in the community. Calm, peaceful, with residents going about their normal businesses until about 8 o'clock in the morning when tragedy struck at this shop along Obaru Way. Eyewitnesses who spoke to NTA News off camera said about 5 police officers were at the shop to get some items when an altercation ensued between them and one Paul Durujayi. ASP Ayeni Adekunle, one of the officers, was allegedly struck by the victim. The situation went from bad to worse as the young man was shot dead.
A problem between a man they call a man that they claim to be a madman who smashed the police patrol vehicle, both front and back, and hit the inspector on the head, and he fell down. So in the course of trying to, according to him, trying to save himself, he fired a shot.
Things went out of control as angry youths in the community took their grievances to the old police barracks and set it on fire. Tears and wailing rent the air as wives and children of police officers at the old barracks watched their goods turn to ashes.
Everything to go. My husband document. Everything go. His pistol, everything. They said I can't carry anything.
See my animal talking. Nadia, they get money to pay my children's school fees. Everything condemned.
All my from WAEC, NECO certificate, all everything. They burn it. I left it inside the room with my sister home.
The body of Paul Durujayi has been deposited in the mortuary as investigations and arrest of suspects involved in the destruction of the barracks are ongoing. From Kaba, I am Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Very sad indeed. Police Service Commission has raised concern over the low enrollment of youths from the southeast into the Nigeria Police. This was addressed during a one-day sensitization and town hall forum on recruitment in the Nigerian Police held in Enugu State. Mena Okobasi now reports.
Records from the Police Service Commission indicate that the southeast states appear uninterested in the ongoing police recruitment exercise. Out of the 81,005 applicants received so far nationwide, only 1,404 applicants are from the southeast. In Enugu State, 2,945 youths were shortlisted, but only 1,795 applicants turned out for screening. The sensitization forum therefore seeks to address, interact, and encourage youths of the southeast to seek career path in the Nigerian police force.
The threat against our livelihood, our lives, our property can only be surmounted if we have an effective police force.
Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, represented by Secretary to the state government, urged able-bodied men to enroll in the Nigerian police force in order for Enugu State not to lose its quota of representation in the Nigerian police force.
Police is essential to the provision of peace and security. Without the police, there will be anarchy in our streets.
Out of 39 AIGs, we have only one from the southeast. It's not good enough. Let us forget about every other sentiment. Let us occupy what belongs to us.
Participants, however, requested extension of the recruitment exercise to enable them sensitize the youths. The Police Service Commission Sensitization Forum we held in all the states of the region. This is part of the ongoing reformation process of the Nigerian police force. In Enugu, Minna Adobe Kobasi, NTA News.
In health, COVID-19 infections detected from inbound travelers to Nigeria have surpassed 18,000 cases as of January 16, 2022. Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, who disclosed the statistics in a press statement, explains that a growing COVID-19 positivity rate among inbound travelers informed the decision to make repeat tests mandatory in Nigeria. He said despite complaints of airport delays being experienced by inbound passengers, the use of the Nigerian International Travel Portal should not be trivialized as it remains an effective means of preventing the importation of COVID-19 through air travel and reducing the risk of further spread of the virus and its variants in the country. The NCDC-DG assured that the travel portal has been upgraded to enable a more user-friendly experience for travelers, laboratories and other users. To ensure seamless use of the travel portal, the NCDC urges the public to adhere strictly to stated guidelines, stressing that registration on the travel portal should be done immediately negative COVID-19 test result is obtained, preferably 24 hours prior to travel date. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with family, friends and associates of renowned agriculturist and administrator Professor Joseph Yusuf Yayok, who died at 77. The president joins the academia, government and people of Plateau State in mourning the loss. He affirms that the late scholar, who served as a resource person and consultant, contributed generously to the national development and urged his family to uphold the public spiritedness and humane disposition of the late Professor Yayok, praying that God will grant his soul eternal rest. You are watching Weekend File on the NTA. Do stay as we go on break.
Waking up and going out is your desire to succeed. This keeps you awake, running through your mind, even when bathing. At Bedmate, we understand and remain your partners in providing you durable furniture that helps you work better and introduces you as a person of good taste. That's why from 13 January to 20 February 2022, you can own items in a Sophia Office series at incredible discounts of 20% off with amazing gifts too. Hurry now to our showrooms to enjoy this limited offer like many others needing high-performance work tools to success.
When you first see sign, say you get pain, you go need ogbonge solution. We go make your mind cooler. Make you try Panadol Capless. Panadol's Optizol formula. It melt quick for inside the belly, and it comot pain wahala quickly. You fit trust them well. Make you
Welcome back to Weekend File on the NTA. Since the tragic incident of the Chibok schoolgirls' abduction in Borno State in 2014, government, security forces and relevant stakeholders have made the safety of learners and even teachers a priority for avoidance of recurrence, a development that has promoted the school's enrollment drive. It is on record that safety measures put in place have prevented attacks on schools or abduction of students in Borno. Abubakar Musa reports.
It is no longer news that schools in some northern states across Nigeria are faced with the challenge of abduction among both learners and teachers. This is why government, stakeholders, and concerned individuals in Borno State are not compromising the overall safety of institutions of learning for sustainable peace and educational development.
Before our resumption, which is on 10th, the Commissioner of Police has actually sent some personnel to actually help us man the gate.
Since the coming of the Command Secondary School, Auno, into our premises, the Nigerian Army are helping the school, and they are all around the school.
We have internal security within the school, and that internal security is to have a rapid response to any security breach within the students, and is being reported to the school administration for further action.
Though Borno State government has concluded its enrollment drive for 2021-2022 academic session, the learning environment can best be described as conducive and secured, with authorities affirming the need to strengthen measures against any eventuality.
TSB, what it's doing is just to see that security are in the gate to check who are coming and who are going out.
The security situation is, we thank God, is at least there's improvement.
Personnel of the Nigerian Police Force and that of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as local security agents, have been deployed to government and private schools across Borno before resumption for the second term of 2021-2022 session.
It's possible when we aggregate, we cluster our efforts, both the civil, those people within the civil society, that's the civilians, the police, the soldier, the military, who must commune together collectively and achieve peace in the land.
The unforgettable abduction of over 200 school girls in Chibok has compelled concerned individuals to remain resolute in the area of provision of security to enhance safety of learners through intelligence gathering and surveillance, among other strategies. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
And with the fragile security situation in the southeast, Abia State government is not taking anything for granted. Proactive measures have been taken towards protecting schools and the pupils through interagency cooperation. Delight Gideon in Umuahia has been looking into this.
The state has remained one of the safest in the southeast Nigeria, and the state government intends to keep it that way, especially through the provision of a conducive learning environment for the teachers and their pupils. Apart from the kidnap of some students of Abia State University, Utru, in September 2021, Abia has remained relatively peaceful. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Ezechikam Nayo, says, in spite of the relative peace, the state is not folding its arms.
The intelligence gathered at the local governments in the villages are utilized by the regular security agencies for their operation.
His education counterpart, Ugu Rocks, and other stakeholders say it is a collaborative effort being taken by the State Security Council that involves school principals and the divisional police officers within Abia State.
You need to be aware of your environment. That's the first line of security. So the enlightenment is going on.
Our schools will be checked from the gates.
The principals of all schools should endeavor to have the phone numbers of the DPOs and area commanders within their jurisdiction.
The teachers here are not afraid of coming to school. Students are not afraid. We've not had incidences of kidnap.
The state government is earmarking some money to fence schools, while registers have been opened in schools to check who goes and comes. In Umuahia, Delight Gideon, NTA News.
Joining us live in the studio is our guest tonight, Binta Abdulkadir, Director, Senior Secondary Education, Federal Ministry of Education. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
Of course, students and pupils across board are back to school right now, but on the lips of everyone is the concern about their safety, going by the fact that we've seen certain abnormalities here and there, and of course the federal government is doing all in its power to ensure that safety and security is maintained alongside. But then from the Federal Ministry of Education, what is really going on to complement what the federal government in its might has been able to do?
Thank you very much for this question. Actually, a school by the name, or how the name implies, should be a friendly learning environment for all, where the pupil will feel free, will have all it takes to learn. And with the security challenges across the country, we are having a lot of issues in our schools, but nonetheless, the federal government is leaving no stone unturned, and the Federal Ministry of Education in particular, where a lot of sensitization has taken place. We've gone to sensitize schools, principals, pupils, and the communities where the schools are located. And also on part of the government, a lot of security agencies are on ground to protect and safeguard the schools. So this much I can see.
All right, but then there is another very disturbing trend.
Yes.
You know, in the course of the past 1 month or thereabout, we've heard about some levels of domestic violence in schools, even leading to death of some of these pupils. What is going on?
You know, schools are reflections of the society. And where you have a reflection of the society, the school is to provide the proper chart for learning and also counseling the children on how to live with one another. But many a times, as children from different home backgrounds, there is this psychological saying that if a child lives with hostility, he learns to fight. You talked about the domestic violence. And the domestic violence always emanates from the home. So I think the school are doing their own. They do a lot of things to, especially the schools I supervise, because I supervise the 110 federal government colleges across the country. And I know we have a lot of sensitization on reducing fagging, punishing children unnecessarily, bullying by other senior students. We do that to the barest minimum. And what is left is for the parent. There should be a synergy between the schools, the school management, and the PTA, so that the child should be informed or told categorically that doing this is right and doing this is wrong. So if the child is able to know that, I think we will have less of bullying, less of fagging, less of terrorizing other children, because we always keep telling these children that schools are not concentration camps. I started by saying the school should be a friendly learning environment. In fact, school should be the safest place next to home for the child to be. Even children from the irresponsible homes, they are safer when they come to school. So I think it's beyond the school, even the parents, the society. We all have a lot to do. Yes.
All right, we'll talk some more on this issue right after the break. Just stay with us on Weekend File.
Sure, Danny. This one when you get Christmas mood, so see you with this and this and this every day now. Christmas with Glow Berekete plus. Now I feel listen to all my favorite jams all night long.
Glow Berekete Plus is here, and every day is now Christmas. Existing Glow customers will get 400% bonus on every recharge and 100 MB data bonus on first recharge of the month. New Glow customers will get 1,000 Naira welcome bonus. To activate, buy a new Glow SIM today or dial *777# for existing Glow customers.
Every day now Christmas with the Glow Berekete plus.
GoTV, they give your TV new ginger. Them go step up your enjoyment with correct awoof. Upgrade to GoTV Ginger to enjoy GoTV Jolly. If you dig GoTV Ginger, upgrade them to GoTV Jolly and we go flex you on top GoTV Max. You already dig GoTV Jolly? Upgrade them to GoTV Max and we go summer you the tier rubber GoTV super package. Now wait for better sports, international entertainment and local shows. Step up Nana. GoTV. Love it.
Over Femi Martins. Just look at this. Remember the name. That is a wonderful goal.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA. Powered by AfroSports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
16 public schools in Niger State have been temporarily closed, with 17 other boarding now operating as day schools, as part of measures adopted by the state government to secure schools which have become soft targets to banditry. Fatima Usman reports on this and other strategies adopted to ensure that pupils and students in the state remain in school despite security challenges.
21 terrorists turned schools to soft targets within a space of 4 months. 2 schools, the Kagara Government Science College and the Saliu Tanko Islamic School, Tegina, had their fair share when students, teachers, and their relatives were abducted. The ugly development brought academic activities to a standstill in the affected communities, leading to the closure of schools and merging of others in high-risk communities.
The school was debated sometimes in March 2021. Students will come to check whether the school has resumed or not.
We temporarily closed down school 17, then we have 16 devoted.
Stakeholders describe as unhealthy the current crisis in the education sector, projecting that the future generation will bear the consequences. Infrastructural decay is also a common feature of some citadel of learning in Niger State, particularly those at flashpoint areas, which analysts identified as a factor responsible for making the schools a soft target to terrorists.
We must think and act more holistically by addressing the socio-economic factors that facilitated kidnapping in the first place.
Meanwhile, the Niger State government says it already has a roadmap to schools' transformation.
Having seen the situation of the school, they've started with whole school development approach, with the dilapidation of the structures that was found amongst the whole school that were visited. So this is ongoing. Most of the work, some have reached 50, 70 or more percentages.
Permanent Secretary also assured similar gesture will be extended to the trouble zone areas as soon as communities are accessible. Until then, parents will continue to utilize available means to ensure literacy of their wards. In Mina, I am Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Let's also hear about the health situation in Lagos.
And Lagos being the epicenter, many sectors, including academic activities, were disrupted. Committed to quality education and safety in the school environment, the state government organized a series of training programs for school administrators and other stakeholders in the sector with a view to keeping the schools safe. As the country is experiencing the third wave of COVID-19 with Omicron variant, the state government continues to urge school management to put in place all necessary measures to keep the children and teachers safe at all times. A visit to some private and public schools in the metropolis when the schools resumed for the 2021-2022 academic session showed full adherence to COVID-19 protocols.
We ensure that the children and staff always come in their nose mask or face shield, and to also wash or sanitize their hands.
We have charts, banners indicating the guidelines on COVID-19 protocols. Here in our school, we adhere strictly to the directives in order to curtail the spread of the pandemic.
Meanwhile, stakeholders agreed that the fight against the dreaded virus is a collective responsibility of both parents, teachers, and the government.
Ensure their children are always on masks, then get them this personal hand sanitizer.
I feel you should also educate them to keep some distance, particularly if somebody is coughing around you as a child. You should excuse yourself a little.
With the resumption of the second term of 2021-2022 academic year in the state, parents are hopeful that the school environment remains safe for effective and efficient learning. In Lagos, Ruth Ariel Samuel, NTA News.
We're still discussing with Binta Abdulkadiri, Director of Senior Secondary Education, Federal Ministry of Education. That last report is very, very revealing. So what is the ministry doing about health as the students come back?
The Federal Ministry of Education did a lot regarding supplying COVID intervention main protocols to help students or pupils observing the protocols in order to avoid catching the diseases. I remembered immediately after the lockdown, the Federal Ministry of Education developed a template in conjunction with UNICEF, and we took the crusade to the 6th geopolitical zone, where we met with all the commissioners of education, the SUBEB chairman, so as to show them the need to have a self-school sort of declaration before we reopen the schools, so that the children will be safe and will not contract the disease. So, and after that, the ministry, as I said earlier, supplied especially our federal government colleges with all the necessary intervention, hand sanitizers and everything to take care of those students, to safeguard
the nose, face masks.
Yes, face masks, everything.
Gadgets.
And even the state ministries, I think, provided, in conjunction with UNICEF, as I said earlier, provided the state schools with Veronica buckets, soaps and hand sanitizers, that they will have to wash their hands and they will have to wear the mask. And then assemblies were, I think, minimized. I think the assemblies were minimized. If the senior schools have their assemblies this week, the next week the junior schools will have their assembly in order to avoid
overcrowd. And we want to believe that the authority is monitoring all these measures?
Just, I think about a month or so, the Federal Ministry of Education, under a deputy director in my department, went to about 555 schools
across the nation
to see how they are observing the COVID protocols.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Now, tell us the mood of the ministry, because Nigerians are worried. When a teacher goes as far as killing a pupil for whatever reason, it just happened in Kano State. What are we looking at here?
To me, in both principles and practice, that teacher negate the concept of teaching itself, not to call him a teacher, because who is a teacher? A teacher is he who counsels, who molds, who takes care of the child more than even his own child. So this is the saddest moment for all the Nigerian teachers.
Very ugly.
And I think the ministry will soon come up with a pronouncement.
Very good.
Yes.
Again, of course, the ministry and indeed Nigerians should be happy over the return of some abducted students of the Federal Government College buried in Yauri in Kebbi State.
Yes. Actually, it saddened our heart and it made us wild when those students were kidnapped on the 17th of June last year. About 106 of them, including teachers and non-academic staff, 96 students, plus this other staff, including a vice principal who was not even with them when they were kidnapped. He was somewhere, but when he heard about the children being kidnapped, being taken away by the bandits, he quickly ran and followed them. He was such a hero. And he was released with other 27 students last week, or about 2 weeks ago. But we still have about 15 of them. But I think the
efforts are
being made because
to get them back.
Yes, to get them back.
All right, this also takes us to the issue of Safe Schools Initiative. Are we getting this right now?
Yes. You know, at the time the unfortunate incidents happened at Chibok, when over 200 students were kidnapped, that's when the issue of the Safe School Initiative came up, initiated by Gordon Brown. And ever since then, I think about 2,273 children from the trouble area in the northeast were brought back to some of our schools, federal government colleges, in about 43 schools. That's where they were admitted.
Okay.
Yes. And I think most of them have passed out. Some of them have even graduated from universities.
That's good to
so
know.
We only have fewer of them now. We just hope we will very soon. We are making effort to meet the ministry. Will take a position and meet again with the Northeast Development Commission to see how we can get another students. And now we are trying to see if we can have the program expanded to other places in the Northwest. We also have the IDPs, mainly those children who are from the IDPs in Borno. Yes. So I think we are looking at that.
Okay.
Yes, we are trying to do that by the president.
Finally, from us, Binta Abdulkadir, you are not just a director, you're also a mother. What would be your parting word right now to students themselves, pupils, and then of course parents, because you did mention about the background of the family before heading to school.
Yes.
So what will be your parting words? Because we've started a new session and we're all looking forward to a brighter future.
Well, education is a collective responsibility, so it shouldn't be left to government alone. The parents, the society, the teachers, the school managers have roles to play in molding the child and seeing that the child becomes what the society desires him to become. And if all hands are put on deck, I think we can achieve that.
Thank you very much for coming on Weekend File tonight. We'll be discussing with the Director of Senior Secondary Education, Federal Ministry of Education, Binta Abdulkadri, tonight on Weekend File. And our topic has been schools resumption and safety initiatives. Let's go on our final break on the program. To stay.
Me and you, let's go to Ghana. Go and jump.
This is Ghana. You've come here to seek for greener pastures. Make it your worthwhile.
Any guinea fowl is Guinea. Guinea fowl has nothing to do with Guinea. It's just the name of the fowl. So Ghana jollof, what is it? Is it Nigerian beans?
What?
Have you made before?
No.
Jasper! Help me!
Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
Nigeria to face Ghanaian hurdle as FIFA World Cup playoff draws throw up epic African confrontations. Final qualifying round: Egypt versus Senegal, Cameroon versus Algeria, Ghana versus Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo versus Morocco, and Mali versus Tunisia. There will be no opportunities for second chances as the African Cup of Nations AFCON 2021 round of 16 stage begins on Sunday. It will be a battle fit for the sky as Nigeria Super Eagles face the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia in one of the two matches for the day. Let's join Oluseya Adabo for the AFCON shots tonight.
With the group stage of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in the books, only 16 of the original 24 teams remain standing as 8 teams already home. On Sunday, Nigeria Super Eagles play host to a North African side, Tunisia, ravaged by coronavirus absences and still reeling on their shock 1-0 defeat by the Gambia this week. Nigeria's start against Tunisia is expected to be a repeat of the bronze medal match at AFCON 2019 in Egypt, where Odion Ighalo's goal confirmed Super Eagles' third place. Burkina Faso kick off the first game of the knockout stage against Gabon on Sunday at Limbe Stadium by 5 p.m. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has named Nigeria's interim coach Austin Eguavoen the best manager of the group stage of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. CAF announced this on its website after AFCON 2021 group stage, saying that its technical study group shortlisted the best of the group stage. Eguavoen was awarded for winning the 3 matches at the group stage. And following Ghana's unimpressive performance in the ongoing AFCON, the Ghana Football Federation have sacked its Serbian tactician Milovan Rajevac as Black Stars coach.
That's Weekend File on the NTA tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. Please remember to join the NTA in our fight against rape and rapists in our society. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and good night.